Suspension was done, great. And how long did that take roughly? It was about, we were messing around a little bit and trying to get it right, but it was at least an hour.
Yeah, I'd say an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah. You could probably, if it was a new bike, you could probably get it done in half an hour, do you think?
Yeah, we work on a lot of new bikes and they're just sort of so much easier and cleaner to work on. It's just everything drops out straight away. There's never any issues.
Yeah. So it was about half an hour without any issues.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we went on to the exhaust.
Yeah, so while you had the rear wheel out of the bike and it was up on the stand, it's a good time to do the exhaust. It's in that sort of area. So we took your hefty OEM exhaust out and swapped it for a Scorpion tapered exhaust. That comes with a new linkage pipe as well. It sounds awesome. We took the baffle out. I think that's going to stay out for a while, but it just gives a nice sort of raspy. It's not over the top.
No, it's not too loud.
It's not offensive in any way, but it does give it a nice hint of aggression, I'd say.
So from my point of view, Rally Raid do a high exhaust and a low exhaust. I really like the look of the high exhaust, and that's what I've been riding on the Rally Raid bike. I think it's clear out of the way in terms of any potential knocks and damage, but it just kind of changes the look and makes it feel a bit more off-roady.
Yeah, completely.
And if I had my first choice, it would have been that high exhaust. But for me, this bike it's really important that I can take luggage and have luggage racks, and we tried it out, and it's not really designed, the high exhaust not ideal with luggage because you just increase the risk of the heat affecting the luggage. So we went for the low exhaust, which still looks great, and the low exhaust is a bit shorter, and it's designed to work well with luggage.
Yeah, it's still quite compact. Obviously, being lower, they've done as much development as they can at Scorpion to keep it tight into the bike.
Yeah, we didn't have to manually cut the old exhaust off. The old exhaust came off pretty.
Yeah, no, all the Scorpion stuff's plug and play. You don't have to take any body work off to do an exhaust on the CVs. It's just one 10mm and another 13mm at the top, and the whole unit just slides off. Slide the new one on, and easy as that, really.
And the new one comes with you've got the exhaust and you've got a connector pipe, and the connector pipe has got an option on it.
The Scorpion pipes come with a tab for bikes with a centre stand. Obviously, you can't have the centre stand over rotating up into the exhaust and damaging it. For Greg's specific needs, he's not going to use a centre stand, and the tyre profile that he's going to be using is quite thick, so we removed that tag just to make sure there wasn't going to be any sort of clearance issues.
Yeah. So you don't need to take it off, but for neatness we took it off.
Yeah, that's for your needs, that's what we had to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, great. And it was, and it hangs off the footrest. It was, again, a half hour, really, not...
Yeah.
There was we had to tidy up some of the...
Yeah, you have a small carbon belt around the OEM exhaust. Unfortunately, yours had corroded, and it's been sort of quite not poorly looked after bike, but it's been out in the rain enough times. We just had to sort of jimmy that off and clean that up. But the Scorpion stuff always fitting nice, goes on and off easily.
Yeah.
It's just an awesome little product.
So it was one of the faster parts of the project in getting that exhaust on. It wasn't too much.
Yeah, no, it's just one of the plug and play.
Yeah. And does that exhaust actually improve the engine performance? Does it increase horsepower at all?
So from Scorpion, they said a 1.9 horsepower increase. I mean, it's kind of a negligible increase. You've changed tyres, and everything like that can have small pluses and minuses. A noticeable difference is in the mid-range of the bike. There is a lot more pull in the mid-range.
So this exhaust kind of improves torque in the mid-range as opposed to increasing overall engine power.
Yeah, I mean, generally exhausts don't work in the way that a lot of people think, where you stick it on and you instantly get, bang, 10 horsepower across the whole range of your engine. It's a small increase, but it does help, especially in the low to mid-range. You can notice a small difference in the amount of torque you've got there.
Yeah.
And we've also found it kind of revs out a little bit free at the top end as well. I've got one on my F, which I mainly use for the road riding and stuff like that, but the loss of back pressure at the higher rev range actually opens it out and lets it breathe a bit more freely.
Yeah, and for adventure riding, it's not really about more power; it's about more torque.
That's it. You're not going to be screaming down a lane on the rev limiter, but where it really matters is sort of the slow, controlled river crossings. That's an excellent example of where you want that low end torque, so you can have the confidence that you know you're not going to stall. If you hit some rocks, you just keep chugging on through.
Yeah.
And the Honda really does, just because it's parallel twin, it will just keep chugging through any sort of.
Yeah, I found it's very forgiving. Like earlier in the week when we were riding, on my 450, you kind of, I mean, the 450 is still reasonably forgiving, but you kind of want to make sure that you're always in the right gear. Whereas we were chugging along, and I didn't know if I was in second or third or sometimes even fourth. It was just going, you know.
Yeah.
So that was helpful, and yeah, it's a forgiving engine in that respect.
Yeah, I think that's down to the power curve. It's got such a linear power curve. You can grab a handful of throttle anywhere within your rev range, and it's predictable. You know what the outcome of that's going to be. Whereas, like you said, on certain enduro bikes or other bikes, the power curve can be quite dramatic from sort of the low range to the mid range. So you're always searching for that sweet spot. But with the CB, it's kind of everywhere is a sweet spot in terms of the engine, isn't it?
Yeah.